Think of November, December 2019. Think of January, February of 2020. COVID was starting to be a thing. The markets were, they were slow. And nobody knew what was going to happen. Everyone probably, at least in the business, was freaking out because we could just see that things were not good with real estate and with mortgages. And then in that case, we had the pandemic, right? So we had something that was not natural that affected the markets. But this time, we may have a more natural buying market where, if you think about it seasonally, March, well, it's around the time people are doing their taxes. It's around the time people are starting to think about moving and preparing to move for the summer. That is the time that people put their homes on the market. It's also the time people start looking to sell, to buy. I'm thinking the spring of this next year, and based on what Barry's saying, we're probably looking at also more favorable interest rates. Could be kind of the best of both worlds, right? But it's also going to mean that there's going to be a lot more competition. So first-time home buyers, are they able to purchase a home when there's competition, or are they put on the bench? A first-time home buyer is not able to buy a home when there's a bunch of competition, because that competition has additional assets, right? Their offer is going to be stronger. They're going to have more assets. They're going to have reserves. They may be able to go over list price. They won't need to request any credits or anything like that. So yeah, that housing market may be a lot better for everyone in March, February, March of 2023. But if you're a first-time home buyer, when's your best opportunity to buy a home? Is it when everyone's trying to buy a home, or is it when no one's trying to buy a home? And think of it right now. If you are listing your home right now, it's November. If you're putting your home on the market right now, or it's already on the market, you've already thought this through and you said, yeah, I'd like to do Thanksgiving and Christmas with a for sale sign in front of my house and having people trample through my house. You're not selling your home because you think it's the best time to sell your home. You're selling your home because you need to sell your home. And so if you're a first-time home buyer, that's the home that you want to buy, the one that needs to be sold because you have some room to work with, right? Remember, when you're buying a home, you have a down payment plus closing costs plus prepaids. So even if you're buying with 3.5% down, it is more than 3.5% down that is required to buy that home. It's going to be about 5.5% total to buy the home because you have your down payment plus closing costs plus prepaids, right? So where's that money coming from? You may have saved up the down payment, but that closing costs and prepaids right now in November and next month in December and maybe in January, you can get that from the seller by negotiating, right? You can request a seller paid closing cost credit and use that to pay for the additional funds that are required to buy your home. If the market starts to pick up and everyone's out there in March, it's not going to happen. It's not just like it hasn't happened the last 2 years. The same thing with our veteran buyers. Listen, it's Veterans Day coming up, right? And we want to thank and salute everyone that served the country. But if you're a VA buyer and you've submitted an offer, and there's also a conventional loan offer and maybe another offer, the VA offer for the seller, based on the real estate agent's way of thinking, is not the best offer for them to accept. And typically it's because there's additional scrutiny. The home has to meet certain required levels. It has to be in good shape. There needs to be a termite or pest inspection. It needs to have in most cases, clear pest, right? And so these are things that aren't required for other financing. And so it's just one less thing the seller needs to worry about. But if they're selling to someone that's using a VA loan, now they have to worry about that, right? And now they may have to provide additional credits that maybe weren't going to be required if someone were getting conventional financing. It just puts the VA buyer, unfortunately, at a disadvantage. It's not the intent. The intent is to help the veteran make sure that they're buying a home that's in good condition. The last thing we want is for our veterans to buy a home and get duped and the home has a bunch of termites, right? So it's for a good reason that it's set up this way, but it's used against veteran buyers in markets where there's competition. Now, there's not that competition right now. November, December, January, every year, it's like this. This is our best time for first-time home buyers and the best time for our VA buyers to buy a home. So if you're a VA buyer, you're a first-time home buyer, and you're waiting for the news to say, the housing market has picked up, things are great, that's too late. Like, that's when everyone else is already out there. Like, right now is the time that you need to be buying. So if you want to get help with that, that is what I do. I will help you. Please reach out to me and let's get you some help and hopefully get you into a home. The sooner the better. And per Barry Habib, interest rates are coming back down. So if you buy with a VA loan right now, they have what's called a VA streamline. So when rates drop, without having to re-verify everything, without having to get an appraisal, we can drop the interest rate. It's like that. So guys, it's date the rate, marry the home, right? So let's get into the home now. Yes, rates are a little bit higher, but as we said, right now, rates have just dropped about 1/4 to 1/2 percentage point. So that opens things up for a lot of us. Okay. But don't wait. Don't say, oh boy, they started dropping, I'm going to wait for them to continue to drop. You're doing that while everyone else is also waiting. And then they're going to get in ahead of you and you're not going to be able to buy the home that you need to buy. So don't wait too long. Okay. Take it from me.